We have this company that seek our help to reconcile their IOLTA account. The company just opened its IOLTA account in 2024, and then no reconciliation had been performed on the account since the inceptions. And then our team was engaged to conduct a full reconciliation of IOLTA account, and then we performed the three-way matching, documentations, and then reconciliation from 2024 until today. As of August 25, the bank balance stands at 213,551.84. We check this by the online bank system. Here, you can see the highlighted in yellow, 213,551.84. The current issues identify the company is unable to identify which clients have entrusted funds in the IOLTA account. So they don't know who are the clients in the 213,551.84 because they don't have any ledger or any supporting documents, but they have the deposit and the disbursement. So we could clearly identify where we done with the reconciliation. There is no record of individual trust account balance per client, making it impossible to determine the ownership of funds. So that's the problem for this company. So our step number one, gather all the bank statement from the start of operations. So from the date of inception until today, there's a bank statements. But the bank statement's limited. You can only see the deposit and the disbursement in bulk, if not in separate account. You don't know whose client is in the check. So you need to have an access under either on the banking online or they're monitoring for the deposits. Because it's very hard to reconcile if you're using only the bank statement. The bank statement will give you the balance at the end of the month or daily balance, but you cannot determine specific clients and that deposit or disbursement. Second, we prepare a Google Sheet containing all deposit and withdrawals from the IOLTA account. So here's the sample of our Google Sheet. We have the date, the amount, the client name, the deposit amount, check number. And then we identify clients per column. So we have client number 1, client number 2, client number 3, and client number 4, and so on. So we encode all deposit and withdrawal in the Google Sheet with corresponding details and client name until you reach the initial deposit. So this will be a very clerical task. So you need to input everything on the date until the inception, the amount, and the client name. The problem with the bank statements, you don't have the client name. So here example, on August 18, they deposited 114,500. So how will you determine whose client is this? So we have to check if you have the online banking and they do it properly, they already identified the checks on the online banking. But if you don't have, you must seek for the file bind or to the controller for the details of the deposit. So it will be a very tedious or clerical work. And then if it's individual, this one, the ATM deposit of 3,200, you can easily identify it's Julian Cabrera. So this client name will be extended to the column Julian Cabrera with a balance of 3,200. After that, when you finish encoding the bank statement, you can identify the outstanding trust client's account. Remember that our balance for August 19 is 213,551.84. We already identify these clients holds these numbers. We have the IOLTA date deposit, we have the date settlement, amount released in IOLTA, and for settlement. These are the distribution. Now, we already created the ledger for each account. Here will be the individual ledger account, and then here will be the summary of the individual ledger account. Here, you can check on the bottom that they advance funds in IOLTA. So we corrected this one after we reconciled everything because two clients has an advance release of checks from operating to IOLTA. So this is a serious violation. We already corrected it. We disbursed immediately after we learned that one. And then there's a beginning deposit of 1,000, and then there was an error on interest adjustments that's not yet been disbursed to state bar of 184. So this match with the IOLTA account as of August 19. So we match. This is the daily Recon Trust account. This is the Trust Subledger account. And then the three-way reconciliation, the bank balance, the trust ledger account, and the QuickBooks and FileVine, it's total to 213,351.74. So the three-way matching is held. So we could start now the daily and monthly reconciliation after. When we first reconcile all the composition of the IOLTA accounts as of August 19, we already know who are they and what amount are they holding. Once the IOLTA account has been fully reconciled, we're recommending implementing the daily reconciliation procedure. So after August 19, we already have a three-way daily reconciliation to ease up the monthly reconciliation because it will be a bulk if you have a lack of deposit and disbursement in the coming future in a month. This practice will ensure real-time accuracy, reduce risk, simplify month-end reconciliation, and align with the State Bar of California guidelines. Reminder for QuickBooks, please set up your QuickBooks to use class to monitor and match the Google Sheet template that we have created. So this Google Sheet will have the same numbers with the QuickBooks. When you clearly identify or put class in every trust accounts payable. So this will be the Google Sheet, a template, and the QuickBooks template will be basically the same as this. So let's go with the daily reconciliation procedure. Number one, we receive a deposit in IOLTA account. So after we fully reconciled as of August 19, we can do daily reconciliation and three-way matching daily. So here on October 14, we receive a deposit of 87,140. So in the banking online, you could identify this is a bulk deposit. So you have two clients. We have A. Lopez and Thomas Prizer deposit. So here, if you are doing it on a monthly, you don't know who are those clients that are in 87,140. So here in the daily, you already check out and map out the clients involved for this deposit. So the best practice is one deposit, one trust account. But if the deposit is in bulk, you can get the details in online banking by clicking the checks. If the check does not provide the client's name, check the FileVine or the Clio. Then we record the deposit in the Google Sheet. This is the Thomas Prizer trust account. So the deposit of 87,140 composed of two clients. We have A. Lopez and Prizer, but we'll be doing Thomas Prizer trust account. So in our Google Sheet, you put the date of deposit. We have three checks. We have Adrian Lopez, Thomas Prizer, and Thomas Prizer. Please separate each transaction and each check on the Google Sheet. Like on 10/10, there's a 43,400 check for Thomas Prizer with a check number 772 ending, and a 10/10 39,240 Thomas Prizer check ending 955. So the ledger account would be putting up to Thomas Prizer and A. Lopez. And the column Thomas Prizer, you extend the 43,400 and then you extend 39,240 and A. Lopez at 45. Record the deposit in QuickBooks under the trust settlement payable. To track trust activity by the client, enter the client's name in the class field. So your QuickBooks must be at a level of professional, or it must have the highest fee. I think it's 175 to give you access for class. So here we have to put Adrian Lopez on the QuickBooks and Thomas Prizer, but we'll be doing Thomas Prizer. Please verify the deposits is updated in FileVine under the client's name. So here the FileVine, you have Thomas Prizer versus Allied Universal. The FileVine should include all relevant details, including the check information. So usually the operation will update that FileVine and put the check deposited here, and then update what settlements and other distributions that need to be needed in Thomas Prizer account. After that, when the law firm prepares the distribution, they will notify accounting and send the signed settlement disbursement. Accounting must verify the settlement disbursement distribution and compare it to the settlement contract, because we have two contracts here. Number one, when the clients agreed to be handled by the lawyer, and then the distribution settlement fee. Amount payable to client is 43,400 with the share of the fee, share of the lawyers, and any referral fee. So our policy here is we prepare the checks as well as the transfer to operating at once. So everything would be closed at the same time. And then once the check is released and cleared, update the Google Sheet to reflect the release and the clearing of the check. So on 10/16, we release 39,240 to Thomas Prizer. So we put extend here on the column Thomas Prizer, and then another check disbursement of 43,400 under the client name Thomas Prizer. This is online check, online transfer to 2595. This is our operating. So meaning this is for the firm, 43,400. So then update the expenses in the FileVine. After you update the Google Sheet, update the FileVine, and then in the QuickBooks, verify the settlement trust payable balance under the client name is 0. So when you set up the QuickBooks and with the trust and class in the trust account payable, the name Thomas Prizer, this one, must be equal to 0. Everything is distributed. And then in the Google Sheet, check the client ledger. It should also show a 0 account. So 0. Thomas Prizer and the Google Sheet is 0. QuickBooks, 0. FileVine, completed status. So everything match in the three-way reconciliation. The daily three-way reconciliation, the QuickBook trust settlement trust payable balance, 0. The Google Sheet client ledger account, 0. And the FileVine status close. Continue performing daily reconciliation through the end of the month, and then complete the monthly reconciliation and perform the three-way matching. So when you do the daily reconciliation, the month end would be easier and more faster. So QuickBooks, the trust, and the ledger would be matched totally. If there's an error in trust account, you can correct promptly by either transferring the excess funds or depositing the deficiency. In one of the company that we handle, we identify a lot of errors in handling IOLTA. Sometimes they distribute in excess of the settlement fund. So there's negative fund. So that's a very serious serious violation. Others, they distributed short. So we need to transfer the short to the operating or distribute to referral or to the client fund. So here, after we reconcile it, we identify what's the error, we need to correct the error and put the error, correct the distribution of plus the client name. Here, there's a lot of excess distribution, so we need to distribute, and then the deficiency we need to add. And then you can review both interest income and interest expense, the inflow and outflow simultaneously. So on August 29, you can check trust interest transfer, 255, interest payment, 255.16. So this must be recorded in QuickBooks in a separate account, not as offsetting, because the estate bar needs to check whether the total interest generated from IOLTA was transferred to the estate bar. So we have a separate trust monitoring on interest. Don't mix this one to the regular interest income from savings or from CDs or for any investments. Just put trust interest payable. I trust interest income and trust interest expense. They will be, at the end of the month, it will always be zero. But the monitoring of this is required by the ABA.